Good Sunday morning to you, River City Grower. Back at it again. Grow Gang, let's go. Take a quick look at these girls right here. Right here we got the Paralitic Purps by Love in Her Eyes. It's the breeder whose genetics we're running this time around in both tents. These girls are the last day of week 2 of flower. So today is day 14 of flower for these girls. Doing decent. You can see bud sites are a little bit more pronounced on this pheno than this one, but you know, people that know. Now this is going to be the first time I have ever ran plants without using a trellis, and that's because these girls are a little bit behind Big Mama. So we probably got about another week or so stretching on these girls. I knew that these two weren't gonna get that big. I just knew it won't gonna be enough room for 3 of them in here without it being a hot mess. But so far so good on these girls. We'll go give them to the end of week 2. So we'll let them finish that stretch up. Then we're gonna go in for another cleaning. You know, if I could pluck, you know, like 3 Z's off of each of these girls, I'd be happy with that. 3 Z's are better off of each one. You know, we'll consider that a win. But yeah, this is the Paralitic Purps. Day 14 of flower today. The top's coming out pretty decent. And it's funny because this one right here was initially the best looking favorite pheno, but you know how that goes. You know, these plants are like children. You know, when they're 6 months old, 10 months old, they still got a whole lot of changing and stuff to do. But we're trotting on along pretty good with these girls. My indoor, all of this indoor, both tents are synthetic. And the only thing I did different this time around with running my synthetics is I hit the soil with recharge, which I normally only use for my organic, and I actually hit it with some fish shit soil conditioner as well, which typically I would only use with the organic. So I'm not using it as much as I do with the organic, because you know, with the organics I probably recharge like, you know, once a month, and you know, I'll run the fish shit, you know, pretty frequently, you know, especially in flower. But you know, like I figured I'd try it on these girls just to see what it does. But over here we have the Midnight Moonlight. This girl's doing very good. As you can see, she's the one in the trellis. Not too shabby. So once we get to, she just about filled the tent up. Pretty close, good enough for me. It's definitely was big enough of a plant to where I couldn't have another plant in here with this girl. So, you know, R.I.P. Lil Mama. But, yeah, this girl, see all the little bud sites. Got them everywhere. Stretch them out pretty good over there. See, I got some LST clips that I'm kind of dancing around. I bent this girl down with the clip, then I took the clip off and just kind of clamped it to the actual trellis. Did the same thing right here. As I double clipped that one, and then I kind of just tied it to the trellis. So that's pretty much all we're doing with the stuff that's a little taller than what I would like. We just periodically move those clips around and use something just to tie it down to the trellis. Starting to get a lighter green, like that dark green is kind of definitely working its way out. I would definitely probably be a bit done with it by the time I do my next cleanup. With this girl, anything probably below the trellis line is probably gonna get cleaned up. All the bud sites below it, and then the branching that doesn't quite make it all the way to it, stuff like this. Yeah, get rid of some of that stuff. If we gotta clean a little bit of stuff out for airflow, I call them the little sucker branches. We'll even leave some of them, but what we'll probably do with those is we'll strip them all the way up to the very top and just let them have a top node. Like, for example, like this girl right here. All that'll be stripped. And we'll just let that very top node go. And we'll get a nice little bud site right there. So as long as they can make it up to the trellis, even if they're a smidge short of the trellis line, we can work with that. Cause like I said, we could strip them down all the way and just have one little bud site at the tip of that little sucker branch, some people call them. People got different names for them. But if you train them and if you, defoliate them correctly, you can get a little something out of them. But yep, this is the Midnight Moonlight by Loving Her Eyes Genetics. The other tint is the Paralitic Purps, also by Loving Her Eyes Genetics. Both of these girls are pretty much like 60 plus day runners. So, we'll be probably looking, 60, 65 days ballpark on both of these girls. Like I said, I'm excited to see what I end up with these not running a trellis compared to, running the trellis like I'm typically used to doing. And like I said, and on these girls, other than my synthetic nutrients that I use the Humboldt Secret Nutrient line. Not trying to push my nutrients or anything, use what you use. This is just the only synthetic nutrients I've used, and I've been growing since 2022, so I'm far from, a master horticulturist. But like I said, we're just going to try to keep leveling up each grow. I'm happy to let y'all learn off of my mistakes, learn off the things that I do right, things that I do wrong, and I just enjoyed this this community we got of growers that support each other and stand beside each other. But this is all we got going on for the day, gang. Once again, Paralitic Purps, Loving Her Eyes Genetics, Midnight Moonlight, Loving Her Eyes Genetics. Man, y'all have a safe Sunday. Enjoy looking at football today or spending time with your family, whatever you choose to spend your time doing. Y'all have a good one. Root City Grow out.